We talked about this defensive tackle with the Cowboys, and I think that, to me, that in just talking to guys around the league, to a man, they're okay with this one for the Cowboys, even though one of the guys was not okay with it, but he didn't kill the idea of it, though. These are guys that are general managers, guys and gals that are general managers, directors of player personnel, pro evaluators, guys that watch these guys play every day. So they have a better understanding. I don't get to see all these players play, so it kind of helps me with the gang of seven. If you're new to the broadcast, it's my guys and gals that I talk to that kind of help me with their with scouting reports and stuff like that. So first thing that one of my first guys said, I mentioned the anchor nose, tough, physical, has some nasty to him. Good double team anchor. He won't get a lot of tackles, but short range guy, can max out to the C gap. That's all the way to the outside by the tackle area, and keep the linebackers clean, does the dirty work. He says, I like him for what he is, a really good addition for me, is what they're saying there. That was one team.
Perfect.
Another team gives them another interior presence that will allow them to diminish the run. Very good gap and half and two gap. Okay, when they talk about two gap stuff, that is when you could play head up, and the idea is to extend your hands, and then you look inside, and then you look outside. And that's how you find the ball. A lot of 3-4 teams have what they call head up techniques, 5 techniques, nose techniques, anything head up, and you hear two gap, it's extend, look inside, look outside, find the ball. So, if the Cowboys decide that they want to even get into some 3-4 stuff, morph into those kinds of things, this guy you could put over the nose and he'll be just fine with that. So also went on to say this guy's a very intelligent, instinctive run defender that plays hard. He's got the ability to compress the pocket in the running game. So
thank you, Cowboys.
Yeah, so you're not hearing much about the pass rush stuff, which you're probably not gonna hear with this.
That's
guy.
fine. We don't need that.
Yeah. Okay. Next thing, my third guy. This guy said declining big body run defender. He will help provide some size and stoutness at defensive tackle for Dallas, but I wouldn't say good. Functional, 2-down vet, was playing way too many snaps in Vegas the last few years. So maybe playing less snaps and in more of a rotation will help him be more consistent and not wear down.
Yeah, not the player that he was, not a guy that's going to make Pro Bowls. I think, that sounds about fair to me, but when you look at what the Cowboys had, you can say all those things are true and have it still be a significant upgrade.
Yeah, 100%. And you can see he played 48% of the defensive snaps in week 1. Mm-hmm. When you start to wonder about why the Raiders got rid of him, it's he only played 18% of the snaps, for example, this past week against the Texans. So his role had started to diminish there, I guess. And that's probably where you want him. You don't want him to be playing 50+% of the snaps. You want him to be playing just those obvious running situations. And that's exactly what the team needs. And Seth Walder of ESPN put this together. Cowboys are 17th right now in yards per carry allowed overall. But they're 22nd on runs up the middle. They're given slightly over 4.5 yards a carry. Dallas ranks 26th in run-stop win rate among its interior defensive linemen, and they have Osa Odigizua basically being the worst defensive tackle in the sport when it comes to run-stop win rate. He's 70th out of 71 defensive tackles.
He's the under tackle with that 3 tech.
Right, and he's the under.
Yeah.
But and then Hankins is ranked 39th of 71 tackles in terms of his run-stop win rate.
And he'd go next to Osa. He wouldn't be the under.
Yeah.
So, he'd play next to him. But the Cowboys are also 30th in terms of just generally in the NFL when it comes to run-stop win rate. They're third worst. So this is big for them.
Sorry about that, Zach. Do you have Bohanna's ranking on that list by any chance?
I don't. Not in front of me, but I can look for it.
Okay. Well, now I'm going to ask you this, because to me, this is like a veteran version of what you think you're going to get with Bohanna.
Yeah.
What does this do for Neville Gallimore? Is this? Are they going to? Do you think they move on from Neville Gallimore here? We talked about last week that some people say it was a healthy scratch. Some people say, he was dealing with a wrist thing. I was hearing kind of conflicting reports. So I wonder if we've seen the last of Neville Gallimore playing for the Dallas Cowboys.
I mean, it was already down to him and Tristan Hill, and he lost that, and now you had another guy in the mix. I think you have to look at like deactivating him, and maybe the player would agree with like a phantom injury that would allow him to go focus on getting back in shape and building momentum for next year. But it really seems like Neville Gallimore's on the out. So if you could get any sort of a trade for him right now, sure, you would entertain that, but. I think you're starting to look at how do we rehabilitate this situation and get positive momentum headed back, because this year has been a disaster for him.
That's wow. I mean, look, I don't think you can ever have enough defensive linemen, personally. I mean, one injury happens, there you go. You need Neville Gallimore, right? Yeah. I mean, you need those rotational bodies.
You lost 2 offensive linemen last week.
Yeah, and I don't think Hankins, and from everything that you've just shared with us, this isn't a guy that's a 3-down player.
Right.
And he's a guy that you want to be a rotational player. I think that's where he's going to excel, where he's not going to have to play an abundance of snaps. So I think situationally, depending on who you're playing, there might be a role for Gallimore. But, yeah, he's not a guy that week in and week out is going to be active. So he either is – this is a big wake-up call, and he needs to figure it out, and maybe he welcomes the challenge, or certainly maybe there's a trade piece out there for him.
All right, well, that's what we got. Any questions on that? We're good on that one?
I mean, we want your opinion. Like, if the Cowboys
I haven't seen the guy play.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him play. And that's why, again, I so focus on other – I'm focusing on the Bears and the Lions and stuff like that. I haven't seen a lot of the –
I mean, the trade just went down 2 hours ago or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, to me, the guys and gals that are watching these things are better. I'm going to take a look at him tonight just to see. But, when these guys, when they get back to me and they're all kind of saying the same thing,
yeah,
I'm kind of thinking, okay, there's only one of them that
if those things are true, how much does that help this Cowboys defense?
Oh, yeah, it absolutely helps. It absolutely helps, because I think you need to find ways if in fact that he's freeing up linebackers to go make plays. One of the problems with the ball running to the edge was the fact that you were getting guys up on
your backers,
Van Der Esch and Barr and those guys.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it absolutely helps.
As we're talking about Neville Gallimore, you got issues with your offensive line depth now. Maybe you can find a team, and there's not a lot of teams out there probably that have an offensive lineman they're willing to trade, but maybe you call someone up and see if you can make a swap there. And I don't know if there's a gang of 7 that have reports on some offensive linemen they think could be available.
There's whispers that they're trying to trade Basham.
Okay,
the Cowboys are trying to trade. They're trying to move on from Basham. They're happy with their defensive ends, and they're getting Basham back. And so the Cowboys might be fielding some calls about that with Basham. So.